All right, I just wanted to record a quick tutorial showing CompBuddy with a few different examples. In particular here, I want to show giving edge blur to this 3D render. So as we see here, I can zoom in, and this is a 3D render I made in Cinema 4D, and you can see it's got, pretty hard, crisp edges there, from the 3D render, as you would expect. So I'm going to add some edge blur to that. I have my rat layer selected and go ahead and hit the edge blur. And just like that, I got some edge blur. Let's go ahead and do some additional settings here to kind of exaggerate it. Let's go ahead and increase the edge width to like -2. Maybe for the alpha, do like 0.35. And maybe for the blur, we'll do like 5 or 6 pixels. We'll do like 6 pixels. Okay. So now you just pay attention, to the edges here. Of course, we are zoomed in 200% as well. But if I turn off edge blur, you can see that clearly there's some blur going on now on the edge. Kind of softens the edge a little bit. Maybe this is a little bit too much, but we could always drop this back down to 3 actually, because of some of those other settings we did in the edge alpha layer. And I would say that is looking pretty good. You can zoom in a little bit closer here and look at the ear there. You can see the edge blur. Okay, cool. Yep, that worked, and that looks pretty nice. So let's look at just one more other example here. I'm just going to close this project. And this kind of requires a little extra setting here, typically to get right. But I'm just going to do text. So we'll just look at giving edge blur to like a shape layer or text or something like that. And for now, we can just turn that off. I could go into, I'm going to make a little background here. Let's just grab a little color. Okay, we'll just name that background. All right, and then now, let's grab a text layer and just create some text. Blur. We can go ahead and make this a lot bigger. Why not? So we can really make sure that we see what's happening here with the edge blur. Okay. Something like that is probably good. You can always zoom in a little bit. Okay. I could even scale it up from here as well if I wanted to a little bit more. Okay, we'll just kind of focus on that. Make this full resolution. You can see our text layer here. Focusing on the L. Got CompBuddy loaded, so let's hit the edge blur button here. Okay, and then if I zoom in, you can see a little bit of an edge blur happening, but it's not quite right. So let's do a couple of things. One, we can come down to the edge width and just increase this. But I'll still show you that it's not going to be quite right yet. We got to add one more little setting here. And then maybe we'll increase this blur to like 7 pixels. So look what happens. You can actually see the edge blur is working quite nicely here. That's working right. But if I look over here, I'm not getting any edge blur. So there's just one little setting when you're using text layers or shape layers inside of After Effects. You just want to make sure on this edge alpha layer here to turn on this radius effect I have here. So turn that on, and then now you will absolutely see the edge blur on all the edges here, as we'd expect. Maybe we'll bring that down to like 5 pixels for a second, and then we are zoomed in, of course, 200%. Now if I turn that on and off, you can see how this layer is getting the edge blur all around. That's all good. You can zoom out a little bit here, right? And you can see it. And I can even look over here, right? This is part of the B. So if we look at that, you can see edge blur is happening there as well. So that is nice, like so. All right, and I hope you found that useful. Thanks.